Hello, everybody. Dorothy Morgan here. Thank you for joining me. We're going to talk about the astrology for Wednesday and Thursday, July 20th and July 21st. So there's a lot of action going on with the moon in this forecast for the next 2 days. So we are going to focus on that. We are also in that last quarter moon. What does that mean? It has a lot to do with releasing, finalizing. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it with you. So that's what we're going to do in today's forecast. And when we're done, we'll do the Astro Dice like we always do. And we will pick a card from this deck. So if you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And I am going to share my screen with you so you can see what I'm looking at. And I love to teach. So I'm teaching as I am telling you what the energies are that are present for all of us to use, right? We don't talk about the houses, and I don't talk about the ascendant or the midheaven in this type of forecast because we're all in different places. So what I will talk about are specific aspects. I'm going to give it an Eastern Daylight Time, and you will need to recess that for your own time zone. Okay, make that adjustment. So here I wanted to talk about something that's quite specific, and I'm going to grab my ephemeris that's in front of me. And this is the moon in Aries. Now the moon is really feisty in the sign of Aries. I've been feeling it. It's coming at me from all directions. And, you know, it doesn't always feel great because people are assertive, and it's not that, you know, they mean to be aggressive. It just feels very energizing and aggressive and or assertive. So basically, I've been feeling this all Tuesday. I'm sensitive to Aries because that's an area that doesn't get activated only once a month when the moon moves through there, right? That's the regular piece of it. Needless to say, moon in Aries is feisty, it's fiery. People have a lot of motivation behind their words and a lot of emotion behind what they're engaging in. And so there are times when it could feel like somebody's angry at you or giving you words, you know, being defensive, and it's simply just the energy of the day. So I want you to, and this is, we felt it Tuesday, we're feeling it Wednesday. The moon enters Taurus halfway through this day, so it will be over, because to me, it always stirs up a bit of angst just because of my own personal placements. But this aspect today, and this is at 9:20 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the moon is squaring Pluto, and that is a heavy hitter. Power, control, you know, feeling like, I mean, like you've got something on your mind and you need to maintain control of that. And it's cardinal energy. Aries is cardinal, Capricorn is cardinal. That's Capricorn, that's Aries, the moon in Aries, Pluto in Capricorn. So it creates a fair amount of personal struggle. And we might see that out in the world as well. So make sure that you do what you can to harmonize within yourself, all right, and find your own inner balance. The sun was opposite Pluto Tuesday night, the 19th, at 10:39 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And so here you can see that they're still in an opposition with each other. And so that absolutely is like, who's got the power, who's got the control, who's feeling pushed around, who isn't, who's being emotional, who isn't. And that would be Tuesday night, the 19th. And again, when we get to this chart, to this point, Wednesday morning, the 20th, it really gets kicked into gear because the moon in Aries is squaring it. All right. It's squaring both of these. This is a cardinal T-square. It's what that's called. It's an opposition with one planet halfway between the two, which is the moon. So Wednesday morning, feisty as all get out. Great for, what is it great for? It's great for activating and energizing projects and things that we need to finish, because we're just about in that last quarter moon. All right. Okay. Let me do more. So let's get the next chart up. So the next chart up, it's this last quarter moon. It's also known as the fourth quarter if you use the Llewellyn book. And so that is the moon at 2751 Aries, and it's making the exact square to the sun at 2751 Cancer. So the moon square Pluto was at 9:20 a.m. and then the moon square the sun, which creates this cardinal T-square, and that's at 10:19 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So when we have this fourth quarter, that energy, it represents, yeah, I can stop my share for now. That represents the energy of wisdom and finalizing what we began. Now we can look at the new moon related to this one, this month. And when was that new moon? That was the new moon. Where are we? At the 19th. Here we are. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. That new moon, which was on June 28th in 7 degrees of Cancer. But I like to look at lunar gestations, and lunar gestations is just a longer cycle. So approximately 27 months ago, we had a new moon in this vicinity of Aries, at the end of Aries, 27 months ago. And so we've gotten to the first quarter to a full moon, and now we're at a fourth quarter and at this degree. And so what it shows is like an opportunity to finish things from that you need to finish up. Things from the past is resurfacing, especially from that new moon. I'll pull that chart up in a second so you can see when this really started. And it's an opportunity, you know, over the next few days. And if we're using lunar gestation phases over the next 9 months, we have an opportunity to pay off any debt that we owe and to really instill, you know, what it is we've been working on since then. This is Aries energy. So that means it's something that's very personal to each and every one of you. And, you know, what is it that you've been working on that is about your own self-empowerment? How have you been doing that? And then you're also going to want to look at the house placement. I can't tell you that because that's a bit beyond the scope of this forecast. But let me get back to sometimes the Zoom share stuff is like all over the place. So let's go find that. Those are my notes. Here it is. Ta-da. Let's go find out what quarter moon that is involved in. Okay. And if you want to go read those notes, you can just hit pause. Those are my own notes. Lunar gestation phase. Here it is. Of course, I should have had this ready, but I didn't. So here is that last quarter moon. Here they call it third quarter. Everybody has a little different definition for it, but it's when the moon and the sun are square. You can see the moon in the sky in the middle of the day, and it looks like a half a circle, but the left side is illuminated and the rest of it you cannot see. So this lunar gestation phase started back in smack dab in the middle of the pandemic. Actually, we had just started the pandemic. So April 22nd, 2020 was the new moon that we had that is absolutely related to this last quarter moon. Okay. So April 22nd, it wasn't in Aries back then, it was in Taurus, but it's all within like 5 degrees. So sometimes they change signs, and that means there's a change in focus. So April 22nd, 2020, when we were setting our new moon rituals and new moon goals based off of Taurus energy, what we love, what we value, what we need, it has slowly migrated into Aries. And that is where we are today. So that fourth quarter, that last quarter, however you want to call it, let me hit cancel and quit. And that's this chart right here where they're square. So what is it that I'm finalizing, finishing up over the next 9 months? All right. So, and you can bring it back just to very, very small part of time. We have 1 more week before we get to another new moon. So what am I finalizing and finishing up in that regard? Right? It's the end of a lunar phase. This is when we finish things up. But we've got a lot of feisty energy going on here with that moon square Pluto, the sun opposite Pluto, a lot of tension, a lot of tension. So we really have to figure that piece out for ourselves because it's just so important. What's important to me? right? And that's what we do. So let's move on to Thursday. So on Thursday, the 21st, the moon is conjunct Mars. This only goes on for a couple of hours because the moon moves relatively quickly. And so, find 11 Taurus in your chart. Me, it's in my 12th house. So I know internalized things are coming to the surface. Past life stuff comes to the surface. Dreams will be abundant, and maybe I'll find solutions and answers to certain things, right? That's what we, excuse me, that's what we get to look at with that moon conjunct Mars on Thursday. So what do I love? What do I value? What's important? The moon does enter the sign of Taurus on the 20th at 2:23 p.m. Eastern time. And she's in her exaltation in that sign. So it's like, yeah, what do I love? What do I value? I might feel inclined to go purchase some things to feel comfort, especially if that moon Pluto, sun Pluto yesterday on the 20th stirred up emotions. Some people like to shop therapy. This could be shop therapy. I don't know. Again, the specifics will be up to you. So that's the astrology for these 2 days. Stay tuned. I'm not going anywhere. We're going to do the Astro Dice now. All right. I hope that was helpful. And if it is, please do me a favor. Solid. Share this in your groups if this is helpful for you and them and everybody. Appreciate it. Astro Dice, what's the additional info that Spirit wants us to know? There's that South Node again. This one is not hard, but it could be confusing. The South Node in astrology, it's the South Lunar Node. It is the collective lesson that we've already learned, right? It's what we should be moving away from, but we tend to have a lot of abundance of it at this point in time. It's not where it is in the sky, because here it's in the sign of Libra. Can I show it? Yes, I can. So we have the South Node in Libra in the first house, which is not Libra at all. And the South Node is where we've come from. And so if we're talking about this for you and me, just as a overall message, additional message, it's like, don't be so hung up on what you believe is right in a relationship. Okay? You have your beliefs. That person has their beliefs. And this is the first house. We're all coming from our own perspective. Try and find the balance there. All right. So since we had some feisty moon and Aries stuff lately, somebody might have said something to you that made you feel like crap, or you're like, wow, they really said that. And it could feel like edgy and argumentative and angry. But the roll of the dice are saying, yeah, just, everybody's got their thing. Everybody's coming from where they're coming from. Everybody's dealing with the stresses of what's going on in the world and the stresses of their astrology and this astrology. So that tells me it's like we need to cut some slack. I'm not saying people are allowed to abuse you. I'm not saying that. Oh, there goes a card. Give me a second. I'm going to go get it. It's what I do when I need to get out of my head. Nature spirits decided to jump out at us. Here, I like it over here better. Go play with nature. This morning before I started my work, didn't have to start till noontime today, clients. And I took a walk around the pond that I usually put my kayak on, and because I knew there were blueberries there. I saw them there a few weeks back and they were ripe, and they're going to go for a couple of weeks. And it's the first time in about 20 years I've been able to pick wild blueberries. It's been great. I just never had, anyways, life is life, but nature spirits. And I ended up spending a couple hours there. So I was almost late for my client, but that's all right because I was out in nature. Absolutely love it. It's the way that I stay grounded and stable. So if you need to stay grounded and stable, get out in nature. And if that's not your thing, or there's just no way you can find your own nature, this is another great way to ground. And that's the thunder drum. I haven't seen that in a while. So let me move the mic aside. So here, let me adjust this. So the thunder drum wants us just to get into the rhythm of life. And one way to be grounded less anxiety, less stress is, however you want to do it. Just do that double beat right on the chest, like your heartbeat, thump, 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 thump. And it helps us to stay grounded. It helps not to stay grounded, but it helps us to be more grounded and more present. So that's all of the lessons for today. I'm going to leave us with that. Thank you so much, everybody. And please, just thank you. Namaste. No, please. Please, thank you.